hope it's not one of those inexpensive Japanese cameras, because sometimes they make it look like I have very little hair.
Opening of court then was a big deal. Every fall, everybody would come and they'd have a big opening. All the lawyers would be in the courtroom, and they'd have the calendars laid out, and the judge would make a speech. The assignment judge would make a speech, and it was a very nice formal affair. The opening of court every year. Well, it was a sort of a formal affair.
What were the court hours?
At 10 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock.
And were the courts open during the summer?
No.
Well, there are many more attorneys than there used to be.
When I started in '54, there was only 3 judges in Middlesex County.
I knew all the lawyers in town, and most of the ones from Perth Amboy, and there weren't many lawyers in between.
Which I think has resulted in the practice being somewhat less collegial. A lot more stuff now is confirmed with letters.
What's unfortunate is not the fact that the firms have grown so in size, it's that they've lost their collegiality, they've lost the sense of professionalism.
And there was a time when if that person told me yes, I knew it was yes, and it wasn't going to be no later on. You could take the word of a lawyer in those days.
Everyone understood and respected each other somewhat better than I see now. Not only respected each other lawyer to lawyer, but I even think that they respected the court.
When I started practicing, it was unusual for someone to start and then leave. And the idea was when you start at a firm, that was where you were going to practice law the rest of your life. And I really think now that when people start at a firm, the younger attorneys look at that as their first job, not necessarily their last job.
I think that emphasis has taken a lot of the joy out of the practice of law, particularly for the young people.
I was president-elect when the governor called. I was 6 months away from becoming president and offered me the judgeship.
Okay. And who was the governor that appointed you?
Governor Florio. We were part of the Florio Sweet 16 judges. 16 women, the largest women class in judicial history in New Jersey.
You said you were the 3rd or 4th African-American lawyer or minority lawyer in this county?
In Middlesex County, it's Gilbert Nelson was the first, the late Gilbert Nelson.
Yes.
And I remember a guy named Leroy Gibson. And so I would peg myself as the 3rd.
Were you the first African-American judge?
In Middlesex County? Yes.
When you started practicing law in the early 80s, were there a lot of African-American lawyers?
A lot, I would say, no, not a lot.
When you became, I know you were originally a deputy first assistant.
Yes.
And that was under what prosecutor?
Judge Berman, who became Prosecutor Berman, and went back to be Judge Berman, yes.
Okay, and then you became first assistant prosecutor. Who appointed you to that position?
Prosecutor Kaplan.
My name is Dennis Vincent Nieves Velasquez Garcia. I prefer Dennis. See, Judge Rodriguez was Don Quixote for us. He was going to bang that door open no matter what. Good choice. So I come behind him.
So I was reappointed by Mayor Cahill, and at the time I was the first African-American municipal court prosecutor in Middlesex County. I became a municipal court judge in 1998 in the city of New Brunswick.
I think the reason that we didn't have assignment judges from Middlesex was that the Chief Justice, who was then Weintraub, didn't trust a Middlesex County judge because of the Willans firm. He thought they would have too much influence over him.
Well, the person I knew the best, obviously, was Warren Willans. Warren Willans wasn't just, for me, an adversary. He was the man who extended me an offer to join the Willans firm. He became a role model, a mentor, a best friend, even the surrogate father, and was the best man in my wedding.
He was a really a party leader. He was very, very influential politically. He had a very high regard for clients.
Mr. Wilentz made certain that no client was kept cooling his or her heels in the lobby.
He thought that clients did you a favor when they came to see you. They did you an honor when they came to see you. Well, I worked far more with Robert than I did with Warren. Robert was a very brilliant, pretty serious lawyer, but he had a great sense of humor also. He was a wonderful person. I thought that they were reflected the two different sides of their father. I mean, Robert was a very serious lawyer in addition to everything else, which was one aspect of David. And Warren was more the social side of Dave.
Impressing women.
Well, honestly, I liked best that I ran the show.
I learned so much about being a judge from him. It was almost like having your own master class.
When I got paid.
The worst parts about being the assignment judge are the issues that you have to address that are purely administrative and are not law related.
Make sure you have a passion for that niche. Don't do it because it's easier. Don't do it because you can build more. Don't do it for any other reason than you will obtain from that area of the law, based on what your own passion is, a sense of accomplishment at the end of the day. Without all of that, it's just a job.
On leaving the Passaic County Prosecutor's Office, I thought I should seek a salary increase. So when I was asked what I was looking for, I said $25,000. When the offer was extended to me by then First Assistant Prosecutor Hoffman, he told me that the offer was $24,000. I accepted, but for years afterwards, even when I appeared before then Judge Hoffman, I always felt like I was $1,000 short. Where did my journey to New Jersey Supreme Court begin? When I was leaving the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office, a young person was joining, and we almost basically bumped into one another. His name was Jim McGreevy, and we became friends. And when Jim McGreevy became governor, he had it in his mind that he was going to place me on the New Jersey Supreme Court.
You were an infantry soldier?
Actually, I was in the artillery.
And you landed on D-Day.
Omaha Beach.
On Omaha Beach, you landed
On D-Day.
on D-Day.
There was a dedication dinner. And at the dedication dinner, the speaker was Judge Vogel.
He died on the day they dedicated the new courthouse.
And as he got up to speak, he had a heart attack and died.
When I was a very young lawyer, I have a recollection of all the judges eating lunch together.
Absolutely. Halpern would not allow them to eat separately. First we used to go to the Roger Smith, and we had a table there. That's where we had to have lunch. If you didn't have lunch there, you didn't have lunch.
We lived in New Jersey until I was 9 months old, and then my mother had married an Italian fellow who was an aeronautical engineer, and he had gone back in 1933 or 35 with my mother, but she came to the United States to have me. Anyway, we went back to Italy, and I stayed in Italy until 1946.
I'm happy to hail from Middlesex County.
I would be most proud of the fact that I think my reputation is pretty good.
You know, when I think about it now, I just honestly don't know how we did it. It was just a leap of faith. And we had great lawyers on both sides, and that was a real advantage. And, you know, we called them together, and we really tried to combine our knowledges together, our desires of what the court wanted, and we produced what I thought was a premier high-tech court.
Would you say that your experience in the military in combat affected your ability to be a lawyer, or had any effect on your being a lawyer?
I would say that it molded my personality and my structure. You can't. I spent 145 days in combat. 104 were continuous without a break. That started in the fall and ended in the spring, shortly after Roosevelt died. To live outdoors through a horrible winter, the winters of Belgium. I think I went from October till May without a shower. To have to kill or be killed, you can't do that without affecting your structure or your attitude. I ended up with a great respect for life and a great respect for individuals.
I got one where the attorney called and said, I need an adjournment because my car wouldn't start. And I said, and when did you realize your car wouldn't start? And this was for a 10 o'clock case. And the lawyer said, about 10 minutes ago, and it was 10:30 when he called.
You are now a member of the Hall of Distinguished Alumni of Saraville High School,
Yes.
and as I understand it, they picked you over John Bon Jovi, is that true?
That was a mistake.
And were you active in the bar?
I was active in many bars, including the Middlesex County Bar Association.
Alan, how long have you and I known each other?
Too long.
Actually, I was born in Neptune, New Jersey. Although my mother lived in Keyport.
She wasn't with you when you were born? You like being a lawyer?
I loved it. That's what I wanted to be almost my whole life, after I got the notion of being a ballerina out of my head.
George Nicola, of course, was Lebanese,
Right.
not Italian.
Right.
But I always heard the story that he accepted
That's right, Judge.
as the Italian Man of the Year.
We were just talking about that story the other day.
Is that a true story?
Well,
It is a true story.
One of the legends around here was your administrative assistant, Enid.
Well, I fired her a couple of times. She never left.